got a little dick. It's pathetic.
Welcome to GeekSpooge. I helped make the OnlyFans page for your parents. Hard to believe there was a time when you couldn't stream video to your TV or even something small enough to fit in your pocket. Oh, my dear Spoogers, there was. If you wanted to watch a movie in the 80s or 90s, you had to haul ass to a video store and rent one. You know the ones I'm talking about. Dirty as fuck, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
I shit you not. When I was growing up in Brooklyn, New York, there were video stores that I could walk to where they had a little tiny section devoted to adult movies. Fuck yeah. Of course, I wasn't allowed to go back there. I was only 8 years old. We were renting He-Man and Rainbow Bright back then and making pirated copies of it, but that's an entirely different story. And long before, the family and I were introduced to a little something called Blockbuster Video. The original store opened in 1985 in Dallas, Texas, and they had a collection of about 8,000 VHS tapes and 2,000 beta tapes. I'll give today's kids just a minute to Google just what the brown-eyed fuck a beta tape is. I'll wait. Be nice if I had a watch to go along with this gag. Christmas is coming up. So Blockbuster Video was not your typical mom-and-pop video store. What I mean by that is that this was a store not owned by a corporation. In some cases, maybe a husband and wife team will be running the store. These regular stores would rent out their videotapes and video games for $1 a day. Usually the video games came with a shitty black and white Xeroxed copy of the actual manual, which means you'd be lucky if you can read 40% of the goddamn thing. Now, Blockbuster would initially rent out those same tapes and games for 3 days at about $5. They later changed it to 5 days, and in addition to renting out game consoles, they also acquired a then new technology called DVDs. How would the console rentals work? Well, I want to say the console rentals were about $20 or so, but you'd also have to put down a $400 deposit, and that was when the family rented the Sega CD. If none of us fucked up the unit, our mom got to keep the $400. Years later, my cousin Jason and a few of his friends pooled our money together and we rented the PlayStation 2 and a handful of games while I was staying at Jay's college dorm for a week. Check this out. Back at home, when it came to the movie rentals, our family didn't just watch them. We committed what I can best describe as casual piracy. We would rent the movies, hook up 2 VCRs, and make copies of them. Simple low-tech shit, right? The only trouble with that is that we'd end up with awful, shitty-ass copies of Police Academy, Ghostbusters, Fatal Attraction, so on and so forth. It wasn't until the mid to late 1990s that I discovered the next level of piracy. Renting the actual tape. Don't worry, I own this one. And this is what I would do. On the back of the VHS tape, they got little screws here. I would just unscrew this portion, take the tape out, swap it out with another tape I didn't really need. I guess I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so I'll just say my sister's 4th grade dance recital. I don't know. And then I would just commit the same casual piracy, except I would return the shitty copy to Blockbuster Video, and they were never the wiser. And I can admit to all this because I think there's only one Blockbuster Video left. In Oregon. With the advent of companies like Netflix with their mail-order services, Redbox, and a few others, interest in renting from Blockbuster simply dropped in favor of keeping rentals for as long as you wanted to, provided you actually return them at some point, and not keep them like a dick. You can either do this by mailing it back or sticking it in a drop box in the case of Redbox. Hey listen, I didn't do this episode to do some kind of deep dive into the financial history of Blockbuster Video. No. There are many other videos out there who can do a way better job than I to talk about Blockbuster's rise and fall and everything that happened in between. I did this episode to talk about my history with the popular chain. That's all. Renting video games on the weekend as a teen was fucking fun. Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Sega CD. It was the least inexpensive way for me to try out games that I've only read about in GamePro or Electronic Gaming Monthly magazines, just to see if it was worth asking for at my next birthday. I know for some of you, when you hear Blockbuster, you think about the Netflix series that was canceled after one season. Nah, for me, this was the next evolution in renting video games in the 90s. More selection, more variety, plus the stores didn't have that same smell your great Aunt Gladys did after smoking 2 packs a day. As the tagline said in those commercials back then. Anywho, thanks for watching this episode, fellow Spoogers. If you're old enough to remember perusing the aisles of your local Blockbuster Video, do sound off in the comments or send me some email. You'll find a way to contact me, I'm sure. And if anyone from Blockbuster Video just happens to be watching, I'll be sure to return that copy of Street Fighter the movie as soon as I can.
Of course!